What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out what is Trooping the Color, the King's birthday tradition explained. Do you have any idea what Trooping the Color is?
No, I feel like I've heard the term, maybe in passing from you or something, talking about something to do with UK. But no, other than that, I have no clue what it is.
Honestly, I don't really know exactly what it is either.
Really?
I've watched a video clip, I think it was in 1981, of an incident that happened with Queen Elizabeth. I watched that maybe, I don't know, it's near the start of the channel. I'm not going to give it away. Maybe you'll see that at some point. But even though I saw that clip, I still don't understand what Trooping the Color actually is.
Oh.
Think of all the things that come to mind when you hear the words Great Britain, and chances are you'll find many of them on a Saturday in June at the Trooping the Colour ceremony. This military spectacle, which marks the official birthday of the king or queen, is the sort of event the United Kingdom does best.
Okay, so it marks the birth date of the king or queen.
It's always in June? Is it just when they celebrate the birthday?
It must be.
Because I guess it needs to be an annual thing, so regardless of who's on the throne, they would have to have it at the same time, probably.
Yeah, and I don't think you'd want something like this in the bleak month of November, for example, so cold and whatnot. So it makes sense that if you were going to hold it,
their official birthday, but that's when it's celebrated.
Pomp, pageantry, music, gun salutes, flag-waving crowds, soldiers in bearskin caps, and the extended royal family at Buckingham Palace, all tied up with red, white and blue smoke trails. Trooping the Colour is believed to have started as a practice to ensure soldiers could easily spot their unit in the heat and chaos of battle.
Okay, so it didn't start with a birthday.
Different regiments of the British Army carried their own flags.
No, those things gotta be so hot.
On the battlefield.
Yeah, heavy.
The colours used to be trooped in front of the soldiers every day to make sure they could recognise their regiment.
So that's the term Trooping the Colour.
The ceremony of Trooping the Colour is believed to have first been performed for King Charles II, who reigned between 1660 and 1685. It was first used to mark the monarch's official birthday in 1748, during the reign of King George II, and became an annual tradition under his successor, George III. But we were still some way off from the ceremony that we recognise today. Horse Guards Parade, on the opposite side of St James's Park from Buckingham Palace, wasn't used for Trooping the Colour until 1805. Further changes took place at the start of the 20th century under Edward VII. He was the first monarch to regularly receive the royal salute in person. It was also Edward who was responsible for the monarch having two official birthdays. The reason for this is a typically British one. Edward VII was born in November, but decided to keep the official birthday ceremony in May or June.
Funny.
I literally just said November. That totally makes sense. That totally makes sense.
Because the weather would be better. As it happened, though, 3 Trooping the Colour ceremonies were cancelled during his reign due to bad weather.
Oh my goodness.
Finally, the parade has been held on a Saturday in June every year since 1959.
Wow.
With the exception of 2022, which was held on a Thursday during Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee celebrations. Elizabeth attended every Trooping the Colour ceremony during her 70-year reign, with the exception of just one.
2020.
In 1955, her birthday parade had to be cancelled due to a train strike.
Wait, are you telling me they still had it in 2020?
I guess so.
Because I know 2020 was a crazy year, and June would have been kind of the height of that, right?
Yeah, you would think that would have been.
I thought that would have been the year.
But maybe it was just them doing it, and there wasn't really an audience.
Yeah, maybe so.
It was just broadcast, maybe.
Yeah. Let us know, guys, was 2020 basically the first time in its history since it got started in the general way it is today that maybe they didn't have the crowds? Maybe there wasn't quite as much, celebration as it normally is.
Downing Street to review the latest developments in the railway dispute and to make plans for all emergencies.
Elizabeth also witnessed 2 slimmed-down private trooping ceremonies in 2020 and 2021,
Makes
configured
sense.
to meet social distancing regulations during the COVID-19 pandemic. So, who's involved? Well, the monarch of the United Kingdom, of course, who is also Commander-in-Chief of the British Armed Forces. The histories of the monarchy and the military are intertwined, dating back to times when the king was responsible for raising and maintaining an army. The king and other members of the royal family hold appointments and honorary ranks within the armed forces. Charles III has a close relationship with all 3 branches of the military. He received Royal Air Force training whilst he was at university,
That's the
flying
current
Chipmunk
king,
and
right?
Bassett
Yeah,
CC-1
yeah.
aircraft. After his passing out ceremony, Charles joined the Royal Navy, serving on guided missile destroyers and as a gunnery officer. His military career ended in 1976,
You see the sideburns?
but as Prince of Wales, he remained as Regimental Colonel of the Welsh Guards until 2022, when he acceded to the throne.
You know, something I've thought about in the past is I wonder how, for example, Harry and William were both in the military, from what I understand, at some point. I don't know how long they were in there. And obviously, King Charles was at one point. I wonder if they were treated any differently. You know,
I mean, I'm sure.
I mean, I can imagine like their fellow soldiers when they, first
Yeah,
came, in contact with them, may have felt a little bit, I don't
Intimidated?
know, intimidated maybe.
Yeah. It would be hard to be natural around them.
I mean,
feel like.
you're looking at in King Charles's case, your future king, and at this point, even William, for example, people knew that he was likely to be the future king, and so it's like, how would they have looked at them? Would they have treated them differently?
The King's birthday parade involves 1,400 officers and soldiers, 200 horses, and 400 musicians.
Wow.
Parading from Buckingham Palace down the Mall to Horse Guards Parade.
I like the gold.
Horse Guards
beautiful.
Parade was formerly the tilt yard of the Palace of Whitehall, which used to be the main residence of English monarchs until
at
the
that.
end of the 17th century. Jousting and other tournaments were held here during the reign of Henry VIII.
Oh,
The
I'm
Horse
Henry
Guards
VIII.
building on the eastern side of the square
No.
used to be
We've
the
talked about
headquarters of
this.
the British Army during the 18th and 19th centuries. Members of the royal family often watched the birthday parade on the square from the former office of the Duke of Wellington, who commanded British-led forces to victory in the 1815 Battle of Waterloo.
I've
More
heard of
recently,
that.
It
You're
was used to
about
Heard of
host
it.
the beach volleyball competition during the 2012 Summer Olympic Games in London. The soldiers who take part in the parade form one of the oldest bodies within the British Army, the Household Division.
Household Division,
They
okay.
are the King's personal troops and have been since the restoration of the monarchy in 1660, following the end of the English Civil War and subsequent interregnum. The Household Division includes 5 regiments of Foot Guards, the Grenadier Guards, the Coldstream Guards, the Scots Guards,
I'd like to look into each of the individual guards.
the Irish Guards,
I didn't know there were different ones.
and the Welsh Guards.
So there's guards
Only
for
one
each
colour can be trooped in front of the
of the
sovereign at the
countries
birthday
within the
parade,
UK.
and so the 5 regiments take turns to do so annually. Soldiers are divided into 6 foot guard companies who form an L shape around the perimeter of the Horse Guards Parade Square. This is similar to a defensive formation called the Hollow Square, used in battle to protect the regiment's colour. The number 1 guard are called the Escort for the colour.
Until our carriages pass through into the parade ground.
Okay.
I always find the synchronicity
It is.
of
It's
everybody.
really fascinating, like how they can
The
do that.
synchronization of it.
Yeah. Be a lot of pressure.
The
I
guards
feel
have
Yeah.
now formed up, and members of the royal family begin to arrive in barouche coaches. The sovereign rides down the Mall, either on horseback or by carriage.
it doesn't look
Queen
like you
Elizabeth
can see.
II
Yeah, I know.
rode her mare, Burmese, at the parade from 1969 to 1986. In 1981, a man shot 6 blanks at both the monarch and her mare on the corner of the Mall and Horse Guards Road. Burmese was startled, and it took the Queen's skills as a horsewoman to bring her under control.
That's the incident I was
My
talking about.
gosh.
Yeah, and she basically didn't even flinch. Like, she was able to get her horse under control, didn't even flinch. It was pretty amazing to see. That's why I kind of wanted you to see it. I think you'd be pretty impressed with that.
What happened to the
Both
guy who
were
did
unharmed.
that?
In
I don't remember.
1987, Burmese was retired, and Elizabeth began travelling by carriage instead. Burmese subsequently joined the police part-time before being put out to grass in the fields of Windsor.
Put out the
Once
grass.
you've ridden a horse of this
Put out to
calibre,
pasture is what we say.
Yeah, that's true.
all other horses pale into the distance.
Another famous horse in the household cavalry was Sefton, a black gelding who was severely injured by an IRA bomb at Hyde Park in 1982, but recovered and returned to duties just 2 months later.
He's a strong character,
I love
obviously.
horses.
Extremely strong character, yeah.
He retired in 1984 and died in 1993 at the age of 30.
Wow.
Wow.
King Charles
Horses live that long? I guess it makes sense.
Especially if they're well taken care of.
I have no experience with horses.
I don't either.
Oh, I was
I mean,
about to say.
other than like growing up, my papa had horses for a while, and I rode horses when I was little, but not
Yeah,
past the age of probably like 3 or 4.
I've been around them maybe a handful of times my entire life, but yeah, I was never. I have a lot of experience with cows, but not horses.
The third debuted his mare Noble at the 2023 parade, his first trooping the colour as monarch. Born and raised in
pretty
Ontario,
horse.
the 16.2-hand Black Hanoverian
Beautiful horse.
was a gift from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police on the occasion of Charles and Queen Camilla's coronation. The king must have remembered his own words at Noble's first trooping the colour when she appeared restless. It took much of Charles's experience and skill to command her. The monarch is accompanied to Horse Guards Parade by the sovereign's escort, consisting of the troops of the Household Cavalry Mounted Regiment and the mounted bands. They all salute the colour as they pass by. The timing at this event is precise. The sovereign arrives at the entrance to Horse Guards building at exactly 11 o'clock. When he reaches the dais, the king is greeted by a royal salute and the playing of the national anthem.
It's incredible.
I love the ceremony and just the tradition. It's really cool.
The king then inspects the troops, wearing their full-dress ceremonial uniform of red coats and bearskin caps. The scarlet tunics originate from the Welsh Red of the House of Tudor. The bearskin caps were originally worn by the French Imperial Guard and then adopted by the Grenadier
Wow,
Guards after the
that's
Battle
interesting.
of Waterloo. The procession turns before number 6 guard and salutes the colour. The sovereign salutes the king's troop during this inspection. He is led by the Brigade Major and followed by the 2 mounted Royal Colonels, the Princess Royal, Colonel of the Blues and Royals, and the Colonel of that year's trooping regiment, the Prince of Wales for the Welsh Guards, the Duchess of Cambridge for the Irish Guards, the Duke of Edinburgh for the Scots Guards, Lieutenant General Sir James Bucknell for the Coldstream Guards, and the Queen for the Grenadier Guards. The King takes his place on the dais for the rest of the ceremony. The massed bands of the Foot Guards perform a musical troupe, a quick and a slow tune, and the colour of the regiment is carried through the ranks of the Foot Guards. Next comes the drummer's call, the signal to the escort for the colour to march to the centre of the square and collect the colour.
I love it.
I love the music.
I wonder how long the whole ceremony takes.
Seems like a
start
while.
to finish. Yeah.
I especially love the drumming.
I know, it really...
The military drumming?
really feels...
Yeah.
I don't know, I just really like it.
Man, look at their legs.
Locked
Exact.
up.
Major
Lockstep,
moves
yeah.
to the rear of the escort and draws his sword for the only time in the ceremony, and formally takes charge of the colour.
Did he say the sovereign? Who was that?
The sovereign would be
On the horse.
King
right?
Charles or Queen Elizabeth when she was alive.
He then hands it over to the ensign to be trooped. This is the most significant moment in the ceremony. There is another royal salute, and the opening 6 bars of the national anthem are played. The escort for the colour, having taken possession, now becomes the escort to the colour. The Foot Guards then march past in slow and quick time before the King's Troop Royal Horse Artillery and the Sovereign's escort of the Household Cavalry ride past at the walk and the trot.
Something I'm curious about is, you know, when you see like one of these soldiers, they they walk up and then they take off, they stomp the foot, they get to someone else, they stomp the foot.
Yeah.
I'm curious what the stomping of the foot signifies, if anything. I'm guessing it has to signify something because they all do it. If you know what that signifies, let us know in the comments, guys. To the Blues and Royals. Do you hear that?
The person yelling?
Yeah. I was like, what were they saying? Is that part of the...
I don't know. I can't tell.
Must be pulled by the horses.
Oh,
Wow.
I didn't even notice that those were guns.
In the First World War?
That is crazy.
Wow.
Reminds me of that thing we watched. What was it called? Where they had to take apart the guns.
Oh, yeah. The Royal Navy gun
I forgot
race?
what it's called.
Royal Navy gun race, I believe it was. I really want to look into all the different regiments because, like, I want to really understand which ones are which. You know what I mean?
I love the yelling. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Then comes a salute from the drum horses. These are the biggest horses in the parade. The
Those
two
look like
used in the
Clydesdales.
2023 ceremony are called Apollo and Juno. The other two are named Perseus and Atlas. Juno was officially named by Queen
beautiful.
Wow,
Camilla in the
look
week
at
leading
that.
up to that year's ceremony.
Oh, so pretty.
What a beautiful horse and what a
After the walk
beautiful...
and trot pasts,
What do you call that on a horse? Like
the bridle.
yeah,
And
yeah. That
saddle and all
was all. The whole setup there was really,
Yeah.
really
the
beautiful.
director of music signals to hand back control to the field officer, which is followed by another royal salute. The field officer asks the sovereign permission to march off.
Where's the king? Which one is the king?
That's what I was looking for. I thought.
I thought he was supposed to be sitting on the
Yeah.
platform, but
Yeah.
maybe he's on a horse. Is he on one of the horses?
Okay, guys, am I correct in thinking the sovereign is supposed to be the king or the queen? You know, whoever.
Whoever's in power.
Right. But I thought he was on a horse originally, but then I thought he was going to be sitting here.
Yeah. I
So,
don't know. I don't
Yeah, maybe we got confused on some. Maybe he is on a horse somewhere, but I don't see him. But
Yeah, none of those look like him to me.
he's looking over here somewhere, but I don't know, guys. If you know what's going on here, if he's actually speaking to the king, let us know in the comments.
Now begins the march back to Buckingham Palace.
What is this? Is this like just dirt, or is that
Sand, it
sand?
looks like.
Yeah. It's amazing. Look how they're so evenly spaced, marching in complete
It's
lockstep.
beautiful. Really
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah, it really is.
The king rides back to the palace at the head of his
Is that
guards
him right here?
before taking a further
Is it?
salute at centre gate.
I
and the
can't really
troops
tell
return
the
to
hat.
barracks.
Huh. Maybe. Must be.
It must be.
This
Wow.
formally marks the end of the parade, the guards having escorted the sovereign back to Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, that must be the king. It kind of looks like his chin and
Yeah.
nose. So
I think we were seeing him there, but we
Okay,
didn't.
we just didn't
couldn't
realize.
tell.
Ceremonial royal standard flies above. Measuring
Royal standard.
11.6 by 5.8 metres, it is similar in size to a badminton court. It only flies on special occasions,
flag?
including the birthday parade
Whoa.
and also the annual Garter service at Windsor.
Wow. You know the flag over there that's always at Camping World?
oh yeah,
Those are huge. I have no idea how to compare, but
that.
that is a very large flag, obviously.
Not
castle.
British flag, but
No, that flag. I'm
Yeah.
talking about that flag specifically is a very large flag right there, the
Crowds
standard.
are finally allowed to surge down the Mall towards the gates of Buckingham Palace, where they will see the royal family appear on the balcony.
oh, 1984, 85. Wow.
Wow.
You wouldn't want to fall.
The Mall is lined with 66 Union Jacks.
I
I
love
was
that.
about to say, I love that right
flags
there.
of member
I love
countries
that
of the
shot.
Commonwealth of Nations.
So cool.
Meanwhile, a 41-gun salute is fired by the King's Troop Royal Horse
look at
Artillery
look at
from
this
Green
scene
Park
right here.
to the north of Buckingham Palace. Why 41 guns? Well, one theory says that the tradition of a 21-gun salute dates back to the 15th century, when 21 rounds would be fired from guns in a harbour to welcome an unarmed warship that had no hostile intentions. The Green Park is one of 8 royal parks in London,
The
and
Green
an additional
Park.
20 rounds are added if it takes place in any of these parks. The salute takes 6 minutes to complete. Finally, at 1 o'clock, the royal family gather on Buckingham Palace balcony to watch a flypast. This is the Royal Air Force's time to shine, boasting an array of modern military aircraft. It also features a Battle of Britain memorial flight, comprising a Lancaster bomber flanked by Hurricanes or Spitfires, the aircraft
We
used in the
still need
Second
to look
World
into
War.
that.
What?
Battle of Britain.
Yeah, I
The
know.
flypast was performed for the first time at Trooping the Colour in 1913 for King George V by what was then called the Royal Flying Corps. The crown jewel in the flypast, and for many people of the entire day, is the Royal Air Force's
Yeah,
aerobatic
I would love
team,
to see that
better
person.
known as the Red Arrows, who leave
I
trails
love
of red, white
that!
and blue smoke as they
That's
fly low
cool.
Yeah.
over Buckingham Palace. But it is not just these 9 pilots who have their moment in the sun. It also gives the crowd below and the people watching at home a chance to see what antics the royal children
Hold on. Yeah, I bet that is something that the tabloids are all over,
Yeah.
right? Waiting to see what the young
kids,
children
They're
do.
so unpredictable.
But I want to say, is William really this tall? Like, look how much
He
taller
must
he is
be.
than Charles.
Unless he's standing on a riser. But
Okay, I was under the impression that Charles was probably, I don't know, around 6 foot tall or something like that. If he is, I mean, how tall is he? 6'8"?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I think he's shorter than
Maybe Charles is like 5'7", 5'8", 5'9", and then William's just a few inches over 6 foot. I don't know, but he looks tall here.
Mm-hmm.
So does his wife.
heels.
Oh, that's true.
She also might be standing on
That's
a step or
true.
something.
I think that would be interesting to see what the children do, because especially the
Yeah.
young ones that aren't used to this, and they get out on the balcony, they see all these people. You know, like what?
And I'm sure
The
they
antics they
know
go
it
to.
makes their parents antsy, so they like
Yeah.
to probably push the limits.
Yeah, they're like,
especially
calm
what's the
down.
one on the left's name?
Oh,
I feel like
is that
he's
George?
notoriously.
Is that George?
I don't know. I'm not sure about.
I don't know.
him.
We haven't looked into the royal family that much.
But I feel like he's one of the ones that I've seen before, like kind of getting into trouble a little bit.
right.
get up to on the balcony.
Prince Louis is the littlest one. Oh wait, no, maybe that's Louis. Maybe Louis is the. Oh wait, he is the littlest one.
Yeah, I think he is. Is the other one Charlotte, the girl?
I think it is. George, you were
George,
right.
okay.
Was told to be quiet by his cousin. I like to see it because it makes them seem more relatable.
Very true, yeah. 1-year-old Prince William reluctantly what?
Wow.
So that's the birthday parade celebrations over. But did you know that Trooping the Colour actually takes place over 3 consecutive weekends? 2 weeks before the main events comes the
Wow.
Major General's Review, followed by the Colonel's Review the weekend after. These both serve as dress rehearsals for the birthday parade, but feature fewer mounted officers. In the Major General's Review, it is the Major General commanding the Household Division who inspects the soldiers, rather than the King. Equally, in the Colonel's Review, it is the Colonel of that year's regiment who inspects the troops. In 2023, it was William, Prince of Wales, as the Welsh Guards trooped their colour. The ceremonies can take their toll on the soldiers involved, particularly when London's summer temperatures surpass 30 degrees Celsius.
Man.
Soldiers have been known to faint in the baking heat and have to be stretchered off to receive attention.
But look at what they're wearing, man.
A reminder of the huge amounts of concentration, fitness and stamina required of the soldiers on parade.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Trooping the Colour is a vibrant display of military prowess and precision, equestrian expertise, stirring music and public celebration. Its traditions and adaptations through the centuries are a fitting way to mark the birthday of the sovereign, the national figurehead who continually balances the country's
Yeah, the
tension
sovereign.
between change and continuity. Like every birthday celebration, inclement weather, industrial action and a coronavirus pandemic have all managed to scupper or alter plans. But this most British of traditions always returns, bigger, louder and more colourful than ever.
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah, I do too. I love. To me, this seems like patriotism. You know,
Yeah.
like you're not only celebrating the king's birthday, you're celebrating your actual traditions and your country
Yeah,
as a
your country.
whole, and your military, and just all of it combined.
And the time it takes to put into this. Like, imagine how much.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, like, I just can't even wrap my head around how much planning and just
Yeah.
everything going on behind the scenes to make this turn out.
Imagine the training.
I know.
I mean, that's like the training these guys have to go through just to.
I wonder what
this together.
happens if someone messes up. Like,
I'm guessing they just continue going.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, are they punished? Like,
Well, I mean, what
It's
kind
a
of mess
serious
up?
thing.
Yeah, but what kind of mess up are we talking? We're not talking about the dude passed out. We're talking.
no, that's out of your control.
Yeah, we're talking
But I'm saying,
like
if you forget where to go or what you're doing, and
I mean,
you
I
miss
suppose they just continue. I don't
off
think.
with their heads.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
I would hope not.
I'm kidding.
I definitely would hope not. But I love seeing things like this. I love seeing how the military they're able to like synchronize so well and everything. I'd love to know the different divisions and whatnot. Like, this is so complex. There's so many moving parts and there's so many different groups, and it's like I have no idea which are which.
Yeah.
You know, obviously I think you guys probably do because you see it every year.
You grew up watching this.
But I am curious, like, obviously when, you know, they're doing the majority, except when they're doing the, they're walking back to Buckingham Palace, when they're actually doing the majority of the ceremony itself, they're in that courtyard area.
I don't remember what it was called, but
Neither, but so
the
like
sandy.
yeah. So there seems to be limited room for people to actually be in the stands and whatnot. So I wonder if this is something that a lot of people watch on TV. I'm guessing it is.
Probably, unless you're close by and you.
Yeah,
go down and watch.
right. Like, but I'm sure like there's probably thousands of people lining the street on the way back.
Kind of like a parade.
Yeah, it is a parade, really.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of, I love, we mentioned this, but I absolutely love that shot of seeing, what do you say, 60...
Union Jack flag.
How many was it, 64? 62?
I don't remember the
60
number.
some, I believe.
It was a
But
lot.
it was just such a beautiful shot there. And just, like, I've seen a similar shot before.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder, are those Union Jacks always up on that row there, or are they just up for this?
know.
Because I feel like I've seen that at different points, that shot.
They
and
probably put them up for different
for different things.
celebrations.
Yeah, but guys, this was really, really interesting. Let us know in the comments if you ever go down to see the Trooping Up the Color in person,
yeah.
or if this is something that a lot of Brits watch on TV every year. I think it always takes place in June, but I think it probably switches because I believe it's on a Saturday normally, so it would switch to
The date.
Yeah, so this year supposedly it's June 14th.
I just realized we have Friday the 13th.
Yeah, we do. Oh man, that's true. That's true. Well, anyways, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow us on our journey to discover anything and everything about the UK and Ireland. Until next time, guys. Peace.
Bye.